Hello Deadman fans, welcome to today's video. Sorry if it's going to be a little quiet, it's still pretty early here in the morning. We've been having tons of internet issues. Of course, the one day it has to happen, but figured I may as well be useful, go over all these sigils across all of the tiers that were released this morning. All 53 were released, so you can go to the old school RuneScape wiki and look these up yourself. Okay, first up on this page is the sigils we already know about, the Ruthless Ranger, Formidable Fighter, and Menacing Mage. We all have seen these before. These are your starting relics. When you initially come into the game or die, you will be regaining one of these. As we know, when you die, you will lose all of your attuned and unattuned sigils. I think I'm going to go with Ruthless Ranger out of the beginning. Not 100% sure still. Now that I have a little extra time to think about it, I may go with Feral Fighter to get up to those 101 worlds as quick as possible, get Piety unlocked, and do a lot of the more melee-based stuff. Also, make sure to think about more endgame as well when choosing those sigils, but again, we have 53 total, so it's not really a big deal. A big note to point out, sigils are only traded on 71 through 100 worlds or 101 through 126. There's going to be a white background with red eyes. There's going to be a white background with blue and white with yellow, and of course the colors are going to stay fluid for the eye color through all of them. So red's going to be combat related, blue's going to be skilling, and yellow's going to be utility. But as you see, the skulls get a little bit darker, and those are going to be based on your tiers, so you can always understand what you have in your attuned or unattuned bank. You can be like, okay, here's all my tier 1s, tier 2s, tier 3s, or here's all my combat, skilling, or utility, which is really cool. I thought that was a great idea. Okay, let's just dive right into the tiers of relics. First one up is Sigil of Resilience. Your hit points restore 3 times faster than normal. Okay, that's not bad. So the consistency one is attacks. Does 1+ damage to the target. Pretty good. Formidable Fighter, your melee accuracy is increased by 10 in stab, slash, and crush. Additionally, upon a successful hit, you have a 20% chance for your next hit to deal +5 damage. Dang. I mean, these tier 1s are actually already pretty solid. These are cool. The Rigorous Ranger. I love the Ranger names. They're just getting pretty funny. Your range accuracy has +10, 50% chance of saving ammo when using except when throwing chins. Meticulous Mage, your mage accuracy is +10, 50% chance of saving runes. In Fortification, your defense is increased by 12 for stab, slash, crush, magic, and ranged. So that's actually a pretty good one for all across the board. Barrows gear never degrades except upon death or after dropping the item. Wow, that's pretty cool. Death strikes, you gain 20% more accuracy in all styles against all non-enemy players. Freedom, activate the sigil to break free from the bind effects cast on you by players. What? Consumes the sigil upon activation. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's kind of cool that they have sigils that are consumable. So that's pretty cool, honestly. I like how they added features like that. So that was all the tier 1 combat. So let's move on to the skilling. Enhanced Harvest. You have 50% chance to gain double resources, mining, fishing, woodcutting, hunter, or farming. Okay, that's kind of cool. So there is a 50% chance, it's not you will get it. Storage, you have 50% chance to send your newly gathered resources to the bank when gathering. Okay, from mining, fishing, woodcutting, hunter, farming. Okay, so again, it is just a chance. It is not a guarantee, but that is pretty cool. I like that. Smithy, when smelting ores, smithing bars, or making cannonballs, all items are processed at once. Perfect. Okay, so that was something I was thinking might be a tier 2. So that's pretty cool that they allowed that to be tier 1. I like that a lot. Actually, let me move my camera. All right. Alchemist, when cleaning herbs or making potions, all items will be processed at once. Nice. Fletcher, when fletching logs or cutting bolt tips, all items are processed at once. Chef, when cooking your food or making jugs of wine, all items are processed at once. Perfect. Craftsman, probably leather. Yep, leather, uncut gems, glass, jewelry, pottery, battle staves, spinning flax or wool, processed at once. And rune crafting, Sigil of the Abyss, is you gain 5 times as many runes as usual and 2 times the experience you normally would get. Okay, that's pretty cool. So there we go. Those are the skilling tier 1s, and then there's only a few utility, not too many. Sigil of Stamina, you're permanently under the effects of a stamina potion, which one we did see that one. Potion Maker, you have a 20% chance to not consume potions when using them. Once the effect activates, it cannot be triggered again within 6 seconds. Okay, so you can't just pot up like multiple pots at a time. Eternal Jeweler, teleporting via the following methods, will never use any of the charges. Master Scrollbook, Ring of Dueling. Okay, so a lot of these things all right here. Pretty much everything that relies on some sort of teleportation method is Eternal Jeweler. We saw that back in Trailblazer, which is something I actually chose, and I really did enjoy Eternal Jeweler. It was great. Treasure Hunter, clue scrolls drop 2 times more often. Okay, that's pretty good. Mobility, teleports do not consume runes and do not grant any experience. Cool. Exaggeration, all non-combat skills are permanently boosted by 5. Wow, that's kind of cool. Okay, moving on to Tier 2. Tier 2 is going to probably bump up the ante a lot. So starting off with combat, specialized strikes, special attacks that cost over 10 energy will have their energy cost reduced by 10. Holy crap. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's awesome. Porcupine, activate the sigil to recoil 4 damage to your attacker for every hit you take. The effect lasts for 30 seconds and has a 2-minute cooldown. Oh my gosh. Like a big buffed ring of recoil. That's awesome. Sigil of the Binding, activate the sigil to get a 75% magic accuracy buff on your next binding spell within the next 12 seconds. If the bind was successful, the sigil has 5-minute cooldown. If the bind was not, the sigil has a 1-minute cooldown. So that's really cool. But it could also counter that you could have those consumable ones. So if you did get binded, then you could activate your sigil and get out of the bind. So it's really cool to see the balancing act on a lot of these. It's pretty neat. Escaping, activate the sigil to get 75% increased chance to resist the first bind on the cast within the 12 seconds. Okay, so it's opposite of that. That's super, super cool. If it wasn't successful, then it's a 5-minute cooldown, but if it binds you, then it has the 1-minute cooldown. A Ruthless Ranger, we already know that. Feral Fighter, we know that. And Menacing Mage, we already know that. Moving on to skilling, Sigil of the Dwarves, you gain 50% more experience in the following skills: mining, smithing, construction, and crafting. Okay, so all of these are going to be specific 50% increases on these next few here. So like agility, Fletcher, hunting, and farming, fire making, fishing, herb lore, and slayer, cooking, woodcutting, thieving, and runecraft. So it's very diverse. There's nothing that seems super, super paired together. Sigil of Nature, choose your own farming contracts. Okay, we saw that in Twisted League. That was great. Sigil of Devotion, dropped bones are automatically buried. Ashes are automatically scattered. Prayer experience gained from these activities is doubled. Interesting. Forager, you always gain double resources from mining, fishing, woodcutting, hunter, and farming. Okay, that's cool. So it went from 50% chance of getting that to 100% chance. So the tier 2 is going to do that. I was kind of figuring that would be good. And then, of course, garments, which we saw gives you effects of all skilling outfits, including graceful. And to finish off tier 2, we will look at the utility. Prosperity is the first one. You have 20% increased chance to receive loot from the unique Deadman mode loot table. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Hopefully there's a tier 3 one that gives you at least 50. That would be insane. Sigil of Slaughter, pay 30 Slayer points to choose your own Slayer task. You have 25% chance of the Slayer task kill to not count towards the task while still gaining your Slayer XP. This sigil does not stack with any bracelet effects. Wow. Maybe a tier 3 one will allow you to physically just choose outright. And you get the maybe like a 50% chance it won't go over to the kill, but even this one's still really good. All right, next we're looking at Fortune Farmer. Newly dropped clue scrolls are stackable. Okay, cool. Same thing we saw in Leagues. This is great. All the codes coming over. Versatility, activate the sigil to instantly swap your spellbook to any unlocked spellbook while outside of combat. Ooh, okay. I'm down with that. That's pretty freaking cool. Serpent is one we saw. It's going to give you cure venom and poison, gain immunity for 1 minute, and then you have 3-minute activation cooldown. So if you can't get your hands on stuff early on, then you'll be able to get one of these. It's probably going to be a pretty cheaper one. Like they said, it's not the best one out of all these utilities, clearly. So it's like, okay, well, here you go, but it's still It'll help. I feel like it'll help. A Sigil of Supreme Stamina. Activate the sigil to set your run energy to 100% and stop it from draining while running for the next minute. Once activated, the sigil has a 2-minute cooldown. Interesting. I don't know if that one will be used as much as maybe the tier 1 scaling relic where you're able to get graceful, but that's just me. Or wait, sorry, tier 2. Sorry, it was the garments one. Last one is preservation. Stats boosted above your base level will not drain over time. We saw that in leagues, and that was a pretty end game decision. That was like second to last. You're able to get this, so that's pretty cool to see that at tier 2. Going into tier 3, and there's only 4 combat, 2 skilling, and 2 utility. So the first one is finality. Activate the sigil to guarantee 100% accuracy on your next special attack. Once activated, the sigil has a 2-minute cooldown. Oh my gosh. That's gonna be nuts. I'm gonna totally butcher this, but pious protection. Decrease the amount of damage you take from attacks of a given combat style for 30% when using the correct protection prayers for that style. Increase the damage you take from protecting against the wrong combat style by 40%. Wow. That's kind of cool. Honestly, that's kind of cool. That's going to be insane for missing in 1v1s. A Sigil of Aggression at all attacks deal 20% more damage, but you take 30% more damage from all sources. And lastly, Sigil of Rampage, which is one we saw. Alternating combat styles upticks your Rampage count. Once you get to the top of the 5, you will get up to 25% bonus of damage and accuracy. I think that's going to be pretty huge. All right, moving into the skilling, you gain double the experience in all skills for Sigil of the Skiller. So, I mean, like, it's not the best. I mean, we're getting incredibly good XP rates 10 times, so it'll just bump up to 20. I mean, that's fine. That'll help because, again, this is all based on getting into the top 2048 players, and that's all based on your total level. So you better be skilling. The last skilling one is remote storage. Resources gathered from mining, fishing, woodcutting, hunter, and farming will automatically be sent to your bank. I knew that one was coming. That one had to have been coming. It just only made sense. And then moving down to the bottom of the utility is last recall. Oh my gosh. Activate the sigil to teleport back to the location from where from which you your most recent teleport occurred. Once activated, the sigil has a 5-minute cooldown. So it's not like OP last recall where you could just spam things over and over. But I mean, even if you're doing God Wars or some sort of boss that's incredibly far away, the 5-minute cooldowns is really not a big deal. And the last one is Guardian Angel. Death does not consume a life. The sigil is consumed instead. You will lose your items as if you were skulled, however, and you do not drop a bank key. That's the OP one. That's going to be in the thumbnail. That's going to be expensive. All right, guys, I'm going to cut it there. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you got some insight just listening through instead of having to go and read all of this through. I mean, it's good. I guarantee you will want to go read all of this through again, understand them, make sure you know what you're getting when you decide to buy some of these relics, or you get one and you're like, I'll just throw it away. It's like, no, understand what these all do and make sure you kind of come up with a cool game plan going forward. Hopefully I'll be able to jump in game here soon. We're going to be streaming here on Twitch from around like 8 to 10, 8 to 11 most days from now on going forward. And we're not going to be taking too many breaks. We're going to be having a lot of fun in Deadman, and hopefully you will too. Thank you guys. Make sure to like the videos, get it passed around to all the other people, and we'll be seeing you in the next video. Peace. That was a lot better. I definitely made mistakes, but I felt more composed and focused. Okay.